When you hear the words time management, what goes through your head? Is it, oh my gosh, I have so much to do, I will never catch up? Or is it, ha ha, time management, what's that? Or is it, yeah, I got this, everything's under control? Which one are you? When you're a leader, handling your time with purpose and focus is 100% vital to your success. And if that's not happening, today's expert session with strategy and innovation leader, Whitney A. White, is for you. You'll learn how to balance your time, have less stress, avoid burnout, and focus on your priorities. Stay tuned to the very end where Whitney reveals 4 crucial ways you can manage your time even when things around you are overwhelming. Before we get started, if you're excited to learn strategies to help you become the highly productive leader you're meant to be, hit the subscribe button and bell icon now so you'll be the first to know when a new adventure is posted every week. Welcome to Adventures in Leadership on Kristie TV. This is where high achievers go for the tools, confidence, and motivation to become a successful leader. Let's do this. If you're struggling to lead in challenging times and overwhelmed by the unending things to do lately, then you'll want to listen to today's expert. Whitney A. White is the founder of Afara Global, an innovation firm that guides startups, social enterprises, and corporate teams through the process of launching and scaling new products and services. She also leads Take Back Your Time, a coaching practice where she helps high achievers cut through the noise of the 1,000,001 things on their plates and get on a clear path to achieving the goals that matter to them most. She's worked with local government, multi-billion-dollar companies, and consulting organizations around the country. Today, she'll give us the need-to-know information on how to step up and lead in the ultimate time crunch. Whitney!
Kristie!
Welcome to Adventures in Leadership. I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get right into it. First, tell me, how did you get involved in coaching and what led you to create Take Back Your Time? What's that all about?
Yeah, well, I had been running my innovation practice, Afara Global, as you mentioned. I started that business back in 2011. And over the years, I noticed this trend. I was collaborating very closely with my innovation clients, helping them launch and scale new products. And I was working with folks who I realized were really, really high potential. People who had incredible visions for the kind of impact they wanted to have on their organizations, on this country, on the world. I mean, people that had really, really big goals and visions and were really high potential, able to really make those visions come to life. But there was a big problem. I saw over and over again that these folks who had such high potential, day to day, they were just bogged down in the never-ending to-do list. Yeah. They were overwhelmed with so many different ideas, so many different things on their plates that they couldn't get clear and focused and actually on that path to reach those goals that were most important to them. So I got inspired to create a solution, create a program to help these folks. And that's what I did in Take Back Your Time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know I can relate, and it sounds like you can relate. I know my clients can relate, and I'm sure everybody on here can relate. So, I mean, I'm really excited to hear a little bit more about that and how we get into this interview. So you talked about managing your time and all the 1,000,001 things that you have to do and people feeling time crunched. So why is understanding how to manage your time so important for leaders? Like, why is that a huge thing? I mean, we kind of know that we need to get focused, but why is it so important?
Yeah, it's so important because, and this is something I heard over and over and over again from so many different leaders, they were working so hard, so busy, sacrificing so much. And then they could look around and say, well, wait a minute. Am I actually where I wanted to be? Did I get to the place that I wanted to in terms of my career, in terms of my impact, in terms of really reaching those goals that were most important to me? And that's why it's so important, because I hear from so many people who they put in the work, they put in the time. They're like, I'm working so hard, but you look around and you're not getting where you really want to go. You're not accomplishing those goals that are truly most important to you, even though you're putting in the time.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I have so many, same here, Whitney, because I have so many people that come up to me and say, I'm doing 20 million things in a day and I still feel unproductive. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, it's managing that time. And would you also say that they do so many things that they really aren't focused on where they're going as far as like their purpose? I mean, they're not achieving the big goal, like you said. I mean, do you find that happening a lot?
Absolutely. Honestly, the biggest thing, Kristie, is that when you are a leader, when you are someone who other people look to for solutions, other people look to you for leadership, for guidance, for you to stand up and be the one to create the next best solution, there are so many folks who are asking you to help them reach their goals, right? So the folks maybe on the team that you manage, or your colleagues, or your boss has you working on a very important project to help your boss reach their goals, or the organization to reach its goals, or family and friends who you might be helping along the way, or you might be mentoring folks. You are doing so much day to day to help everyone else reach their goals. But what I often see that happens for leaders, because leadership is really about service, right? Yeah. You are leading to get the organization, the team, the people where they need to go, but you can lose sight of where you want to go, where you really want your life to go in terms of the grand scheme of things. And you can kind of just, float along, hustling, grinding, doing everything that everybody is asking of you without really prioritizing what is it that you want? Yeah. What is it that you really, really want to achieve? And that's how you can put in all the effort and the time and then look around, be burnt out, exhausted, and say, wait a minute, everybody else is getting what they wanted, but did I get where I really wanted to be?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, because so many leaders want to be productive, right? And doing things and achieving, and they're so busy achieving that they forget that they're involved in the process and there's a you involved here, right? And they're so busy serving, which is awesome. But if they're not taking care of their self, their purpose, their focus, I mean, yeah, that's a huge thing. So tell me, you told me a couple things, but what do you feel are the largest struggles for leaders when it comes to time management then?
The largest struggle is really not managing their time at all. This is going to sound like, what? How can they not be managing it at all? Yeah. But what I see most common is that folks are more so just putting out fires, just handling whatever's coming in. There's incoming requests, and they are just putting out fires, trying to tackle everything as it comes, whatever those priorities are that other people are telling them have to happen right now. And they're not taking that step back to really get clear on the goals that they have for themselves, the goals that are most important to them, to really get clear on how they're going to go from where they are, taking an honest look at where they are right now and building out, how am I going to get to that place where I want to go? Yeah. And then being really intentional about how to get there. Instead, what I see is just kind of putting out fires, honestly. And it's hard because when you're in the midst of it, that's all you feel like you can do, right? You're just trying to keep your head above water, and you feel like you have to just do whatever is coming your way just to stay on top of it. Wow. But what ends up happening is you're on that hamster wheel. You're running, but you're not actually getting where you want to go.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like the biggest struggle is leaders are in survival mode, right? I mean, they're being more reactive than proactive. Exactly. And it sounds like what you coach on is how to be more proactive on your time management and take control of it so it doesn't control you. So when it controls the leaders, all of a sudden you're in survival mode, you're running around, like you said, on the hamster wheel, and you just don't have control of your time, which I love the name of your program, Take Back Your Time, right? Now put yourself back in control. I mean, does Does that sound like kind of
Yeah,
what
that's
you
totally
told
right.
customers?
And it's so important because when folks are in this survival mode, and you hit the nail on the head, Kristie, that's what it is. It's survival mode.
Yeah.
But in that place, what you feel is stressed, anxious, exhausted, burnt out, run down.
Mm.
It's demoralizing. It's not the place where anybody wants to be, and certainly not for months and years, where honestly many of my clients find themselves before they come to me. And so taking back one's time, right? The name of the program is Take Back Your Time. It's really about getting control of your life, because that's what our life is. It's made up of those minutes, those hours, those weeks and months, right? Like that is our life. It adds up. And so when that time goes by and you don't feel like you're in control and you don't feel empowered and you feel like, oh, I have to do all these things and I can't do the things that I really want to, and I'm not reaching my goals. When you feel that way, you're not in control of your own life. And so when one takes back their time, what they're doing is really taking back their life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and in fact, I know you talk about time management, right? Because that's what most people talk about is time management. But I know what I always coach my clients on, it's really life management, right? Because you can't technically control time. I mean, maybe in the future, some astrophysicist might figure it out. But at the same time, I mean, you're managing your life. It's like life management. Like
Exactly.
you just said, I mean, this is the big deal. Okay, so you've got time crunch leaders that are in survival mode and burnout, stress, and they just kind of don't see a way out. So what would you tell someone? What advice would you give someone that feels super time crunched?
Yeah, well, I have a few things.
Okay, good. Give it to me. I might need something.
Okay, we're going to get into it. I have a few things that I would tell them. The first thing, and we have all been here, I have been in this place myself, right? But the first thing is to really prioritize the outcome over activity, right? So sometimes we're like, okay, I worked this long, or I have to work, I'm going to work late that night, or I'm going to do this, or I was in this number of meetings. And we're talking about the things we did, the activity, but we're not focused on the outcome. Right. And so when we focus on the outcome, what is it I actually want to get done? What is it I actually want accomplished today, this week? That helps us to shift the focus from that busyness, right? That can make us feel like we're accomplishing something when we're not. So focus the attention on the outcomes, not on the activity, on the outcome. So that would be the first thing. Focusing on outcomes, not just the incessant activity and busyness. The second thing, and I have been here as well, is to simply nix those low value tasks that have crept onto your to-do list. Those tasks that just are not that important. Where if we simply said, I'm not going to do this, the world would not fall apart and we would be freed up to focus on the real priorities. Because remember, we already said that we're focused on outcomes, not activity. So when we go through that to-do list and say, wait a minute, well, this is not that important. It's not priority. I'm just not going to do this. I'm not going to do that, so on and so forth. That's an empowering feeling. We start to say, wait a minute, I don't have to waste my time on things that are not super important for where I'm trying to go with my outcomes. Simply just don't do those things. X them off the list. Yeah, it's true. The third recommendation, and I'm all about action. So I know this one can be hard for some people, but it's super important. Delegate. Oh my gosh, I cannot say this enough. Delegate. We all, as high achievers, as leaders, we can get into this mindset where we think, oh my goodness, nobody else can do as good of a job. Nobody else can. I have to do it. I have to be the one, right? Because nobody else can get it done right. That's not true. There are other people out there who can help. There are other people who may be on your team that you can delegate to. If you're a manager, You might be a new manager and trying to figure out what you keep versus what goes to certain members of your team. But you have to delegate. Maybe you don't have anyone that you manage, but you may have members of your team who are on your same level who can take on some of the responsibilities that you've taken on. I see so many people just swamped, overwhelmed. And if you don't have anyone that you feel like you can delegate to, then communicate with your manager when you have certain things that are on your plate where you realize, hey, I'm not going to be able to make this happen. And what this does is, instead of having you drowning in too many responsibilities, you can focus on where you are truly going to add the most value, on the places where you are going to shine. There are things on your to-do list right now that you are doing where you will do a fine job. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
But if you delegate that to somebody else, you can really knock it out of the park on something else. So making sure that you delegate instead of trying to do it all yourself. And then fourth and lastly, and this honestly,
fourth?
Yes, I'm going to give you a fourth.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's see.
Fourth and lastly, this one is really important to me because this is honestly the biggest reason why I created Take Back Your Time.
Okay.
And I really want folks to take away that there is a need to prioritize your own happiness, your own joy, your health and wellness right now. Instead of thinking, after I finish this last task, after I get this report done, after this really busy time for my team, then I'll take care of myself. No. You totally need to give yourself permission to be happy, take care of yourself right now. That is so important because often we as leaders are sacrificing our health, our wellness, time in terms of our most important relationships, seeing special moments of those in our lives. We're sacrificing things that we can never get back. And so it is so important that we give ourselves permission to enjoy those things now, be happy now, and take care of ourselves.
That is huge. And I'm glad that you mentioned that was the whole reason that you created Take Back Your Time is self-care, right? I'm going to be honest right here and now with everybody watching, I have not been the best at self-care, but that's okay. I'm on the path to being better at that stuff.
I will help.
Right? You'll help.
Let me help hold you accountable. Tell on yourself.
I'm not Whitney as an accountability person, but yes, and I love running, I love exercising and stuff, but it's just letting yourself just take a breath, relax, and take care of yourself first. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, like you said, how are you going to be able to take care of your team or your family or your friend, anything, or yourself?
Honestly, Kristie, we show up better when we're taking care of ourselves, right? Because when we're overworked, burnt out, haven't had enough sleep, haven't had healthy food to eat, we are slower. Our brains are slower. We are sluggish. We're exhausted. We're stressed out. Like that is not the best version of ourselves. Whereas when we are taking care of ourselves, that's when we can be operating at our peak level.
Yes, it's all about that peak level too, right? Whitney, that was awesome. I loved all 4 of those action items because around here, we are so much about action items. But now that we have all those action items, I have to ask you, I mean, it sounds easy, right? Just here's these 4 things and just do them. But what do you find are the biggest challenges that people have when implementing this stuff? Because I can't imagine people just get these things and then poof, their time is managed perfectly. So what are you seeing are the biggest challenges that people have?
Yeah, honestly, that's why I have a whole program where folks work with me and they work with a community, because the biggest gaps in terms of what folks need is not always only knowing what to do, right? So in the work that I do, we get clarity on the goals, we get clarity on the path to get there, But it's also super important, in addition to all the specific tools, my signature tools in the program, it's also really important to have support and accountability. Support and accountability. And that's because it's not easy creating new habits. It's not easy creating new mindsets. And you know this as a coach yourself, Kristie. It's not easy. That's why the support to stay on track and the accountability to say, you know what, there is someone who's holding me accountable to make sure I implement these new patterns, implement these new mindsets, and then stick to it so that I can see the outcomes. That's why that is so important. And honestly, it's one of the things that gets me so excited and why I love the work that I do, because I know that the outcomes are there. I know that the outcomes are around the corner. And so I hold my clients accountable. And if someone is wanting to implement these steps, I would say to them, get some support, get some accountability to make sure that you can stay on track even when it's difficult. And then you'll build the new routines, and then it'll be much more ingrained. It'll be the new normal for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's with anything, right? And anytime you're trying to make big changes in your life, losing weight, becoming a leader, changing your mindset, and getting more time back in your life. I mean, it always helps to have that accountability partner. And so if you can, like you said, get that support and that accountability, you're that much more likely to succeed and avoid all that stress, that burnout, all that stuff that happens when you don't manage your time properly.
Yep.
Perfect. Good. Well, I wasn't going to tell you this, but I'm going to spring a little on you. So some people out there might not know who you are. So tell us, what's a fun fact about Whitney White? Like just some fun thing that we can learn about you.
Ooh, I am obsessed with ice cream. I am. I have been since I was a little kid. When I was a little girl, my favorite was orange pineapple, was my favorite ice cream. And I am just obsessed. I eat ice cream in the wintertime. I eat ice cream out of cereal bowls. I am obsessed with ice cream.
Oh my gosh. So I would, as a kid, orange sherbet was my favorite.
Ooh, that was like my second favorite.
So good.
My second favorite.
It was so good. So orange pineapple, okay, now that sounds.
It had pineapple chunks in it. Ooh, it was so good.
Nice. So is that still your favorite, or have you changed?
I've like broadened my horizons. I still love that, but I just try all kinds of things now. All kinds.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Me personally, I will take anything that has colored sprinkles on it. You put some rainbow sprinkles on ice cream, I am totally good. I don't know. It's weird. Well, anyway, Whitney, thanks for being here with us on Adventures in Leadership.
It's so great, Kristie. This has been fun.
Yeah. Well, Whitney, I've known you for a long time now, and we always, every time we get together, we always are just so in balance and so in tune to each other. So I'm glad that you joined us here, and hopefully everybody out there got something today from our expert today, Whitney. And Whitney, if somebody wants to learn a little bit more about you, where do they go?
Well, for your viewers, I am offering a complimentary breakthrough session to dig into their personal situation. They can ask questions, get advice, all of that goodness at whitneyaWhite.com/time. So that's whitneyaWhite.com/time. And that's a complimentary breakthrough session. I will be totally upfront. There are always limited spaces. So check there and see if there are any spaces available. Grab one for one of these complimentary sessions. But it's always awesome to be able to dig into goals and the plan for the future.
Sweet. Well, and I'll also make sure that link is down below in the About section. So if you're interested in talking with Whitney and seeing how you can take back your time, make sure to see the link below. You'll have all of her contact information down there too. But for now, Whitney, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Kristie. This has been awesome. And thank you guys for viewing.
Yes. So all you aspiring leaders, I hope you learned something today, and we will see you next time on Adventures in Leadership.
Now, I want to hear from you. What are your next steps to boosting your time management skills? You heard 4 key action items. So which one are you going to commit to for the next 2 weeks? Tell me in the comments below, and if you thought this video was full of valuable information, give it a thumbs up. If you loved what you saw today and you want more, you got it. Just hit the subscribe button and the bell icon below, and you'll be the first to know when a new leadership adventure is posted every week. And if you know someone who could really use great leadership tips, success strategies, and motivational stories, well, just hit the share button below and share it with them. They may just thank you for it. Thanks for tuning in to Kristie TV, and I wish you the time of your life. Do you want to be a confident, next-level leader, but your job doesn't offer any solid training? Are you unsure of how or where to start? Then let's talk. Schedule a free leadership strategy session with me. If you're a driven professional and you're serious about taking your success to the next level, just click the link in the description below. We'll talk about your challenges and next steps you can take to be the leader you're meant to be. Let's move you forward now.